Hello everyone, rise and shine because it's time for Happy Learning. I am Ma'am Jen, your teacher in English. Always remember, in this discovery of the universal language, you are definitely in. I want you to study the following sentences. What do you observe in each item? What do you think is common among them? What do they express? Let's try it. Number 1. During this COVID-19 pandemic, you can't go out without a face mask. What do you think does this sentence show? It shows prohibition. And what is that word being used to make it an example of a prohibition? That's right, it's the word can't. Number 2. You have to wear your face mask and face shield when entering the mall. What do you think is being shown in this statement? It shows an obligation. What is the word being used to make it an example of an obligation? That's right, it's the phrase have to. Number 3. You can borrow my pen if you forgot to bring yours. What is being expressed in this sentence? It expresses a permission. And what is the word that is being used for it to be called an example of permission? That's correct. It's the word can. The expressions can't, have to, and can are called modals. Modals or modal verbs are helping verbs that denote intention or feeling of the speaker. They are also called auxiliary verbs. They add meaning to the main verb in a sentence by expressing permission, prohibition, or obligation, to name a few. How are modal verbs being formed? Take a look at this formula. Modal plus verb. Take note that the verb that follows a modal is in its base form. For example, can go. Can is the modal and go is the verb in its base form. Have to wear. Have to is the modal and wear is the verb in its base form. Can borrow. Can is the modal and borrow is the verb in its base form. Modal verbs are used to express permission, obligation, and prohibition. Let's start with the first one. Modal of permission is used to express consent or agreement to a request. If we want to express permission on something, we use the modals of permission such as can, may, and could. Although they may have the same basic meaning, but some are more formal than others. Look at the following examples. Number 1. You can have more cookies if you want. This is an example of a modal used to express permission. Take note that the modal can here is used in an informal situation, probably when having snack time with your family or friends. Number 2. You may talk to the school principal about your concern. Here, the modal verb used is may. May is the most formal way to ask for permission. Also, it shows a polite manner of conversing with another person. Number 3. Could you please pass the cookies? Take note that the modal could can be used both in formal or in an informal conversation, like in this example. Remember that could is the past tense of can. But when we are asking for a permission, could does not have a past tense meaning. Modal of obligation. This modal is used when expressing a person's obligation to do something. In doing so, we can use the modal verbs have to and must. Have to is used to express a strong obligation which comes from someone else and not from the speaker. It is usually used to refer to a rule or law. Let's have the following examples. You have to finish your project on time. This shows an obligatory statement that someone is required to do what is expected of him. In this given example, the subject of have to, which is you, is obliged or forced to act by an external power, for example, a teacher or other school authority. Next example. My doctor said that I have to avoid caffeinated drinks to prevent health risks. For this example, the subject of have to, which is I, is obliged by a doctor to avoid caffeinated drinks. The next model of obligation is must. Must is used to express a strong obligation based on the speaker's opinion or feelings. For example, I have been feeling dizzy these days. I must see a doctor tomorrow. Here, the speaker feels the strong obligation to meet a doctor because of his present condition. Next example, I must observe proper hygiene protocol all the time so I can help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Just like the first example, the speaker has the idea that it is his strong obligation to observe proper hygiene if he wants to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 infection. Model of prohibition. This model is used to express an act of prohibiting or not allowing something, especially by an authority. The models used in expressing prohibition are can't, which is the contraction of cannot, and mustn't, which is the contraction of must not. Can't usually gives the idea of something that is against the rules. Mustn't usually means that it is the speaker who is setting the rule. For example, people can't go outside without wearing their face mask. Motorists can't drive without their driver's license. Now, in these two examples, we know that it is against the rule to not wear your face mask when going outside during this COVID-19 pandemic. And it is the same to drive any vehicle without a driver's license. Look at the next examples for mustn't. You mustn't use your cell phone during class hours. Medical practitioners mustn't make mistakes. In these examples, we can see that there are rules set by the speaker and the subject of the modal must is advised not to do something. Great! So now are you ready to take the following tests? Here is your test 1. Read each item very carefully. Choose the modal in each sentence. Identify the use of modal, whether prohibition, permission, or obligation. You will be given 10 minutes to answer, and your timer starts now. Time is up. Now it is the time to reveal the correct answers. Number 1. Parents must attend to their children's needs, not only physically but also emotionally. The modal used is must, and it is used to express obligation. Number 2. You may speak to the doctor about your health concerns. The modal used is may, and it is used to express permission. Number 3. Students cannot graduate if they fail in their subjects. The modal used is cannot, and it is used to express prohibition. Number 4. You may only give an advice when someone asks for it. The modal used is may, and it is used to express permission. Number 5. You mustn't leave the house without asking permission to your parents. The modal used is mustn't, and it is used to express prohibition. And now it's time for you to answer the test 2 by filling in the spaces provided in your learning activity sheet. You will be given 5 minutes to answer this. Once you are done, submit your learning activity sheet to your learning facilitator. Thank you so much for such a great time with you, and congratulations for finishing your lesson. Again, this is Mom Jen, and I tell you, in this discovery of the universal language, you are definitely in.